Hi, everyone. Welcome to week 12 of the Indiana General Assembly. I'm Jennifer Simmons with AIM. We have a smaller crew today, Lindsay Moss and Jenna Nepper, our key lead team at the State House. Hey, guys. Let's kick it off with the governor's breaking news this week. He had a major address and made some news that locals are going to care about. Lindsay, you want to go with that?
Yeah, in case you missed it, the governor on Tuesday made a big announcement about the future of the emergency orders and some of the executive orders that have been issued over time since the beginning of the pandemic in March, from March of last year through this point. He still will be extending the emergency order for another 30 days, but there are some big changes to some of the orders that have been involved up to this point. Masks starting on April 6th will no longer be mandated, though they will be recommended. And then there will be no capacity restrictions starting April 6th as well. But as has been the case, locals can choose to be more restrictive with these items. So pretty big news coming from the governor on Tuesday.
Right. And I'll just follow up by saying we'll certainly be providing some education on this as we learn more information. And for now, right, virtual meetings can continue at least until that point, correct?
Correct.
All right. Also, last week when we recorded, we were just breaking some news that it looked like the Senate was going to shorten their session by a week or so. What have we learned since then, Jenna?
Yeah, so the Senate has pushed up their deadlines. Yesterday in Speaker Houston's weekly press conference, he was asked about whether the House was going to follow suit, and he was less committal to actually pushing up the deadlines, but that they would be aiming also for that April 21st early sine die. Since then, we've seen a House calendar that was posted that does push up the deadlines, but I think they're going to have a little more discretion on whether they follow suit on that April 21st deadline. But all signs are pointing to things moving fast. For example, the DLGF bill, which is one piece of legislation that's often negotiated till the very end, often a home with lots of local government provisions and other provisions included, was concurred on this week. So there's more specifics in legislative summary about the provisions impacting local units of government. But again, the fact that this has already moved through both chambers and headed to the governor is a sign that session's going to continue to move quickly. Two other bills that are on their way to the governor are the Police and Fire Residency Bill 1033, which we've talked about, and 1466, which deals with secondary plat approval. Again, another one we talked about. As a reminder, 1033 is the bill dealing with police and fire residency. It was concurred on this week. There were some changes. It removes the references to residency requirements for those municipalities above 7,500. And with that Section 1 language removed, it also appears to impact communities with a population under 7,500. It could eliminate policies that may have allowed for individuals to live in non-contiguous county within 50 miles. So questions about that 50-mile residency requirements and what it means moving forward. So we'll continue to dig in to the ramifications of that bill, but for now, for those communities 7,500 and above, there's no references to residency requirements in the bill. House Bill 1466, as a reminder, was the bill that requires rather than allows municipalities to grant secondary plat approval for improvements or installations that have yet to be complete if the developer provides a surety bond or provides evidence of a utility agreement. So another type of planning and zoning bill that's moving on. So those, again, all signs or bills are moving fast this session.
Yeah, so just like this is the time of year where we start seeing a lot more headed to the governor to sign, it's also the time of year when we start seeing some bills that we think may be dead for the session or that have a high likelihood of being dead for the session, where you start really crossing your fingers. Lindsay, what are some of those?
Yeah, so some pretty big news on a handful of high priority bills and issues for us. One is Senate Bill 95, which is the annexation bill that we have talked quite a lot about. Representative Zent, Chairman Zent, has posted what he has said as his last committee hearing for the session, and Senate Bill 95 was not posted. So that bill is not going to receive a hearing, and unless he has a drastic change of mind and schedules another committee hearing. On the Senate side, Chairman Buck said that this week is also his last committee hearing, and there were two bills in that committee that we were keeping a close eye on and talking with legislators about our opposition to them. One was the eminent domain bill, House Bill 1527, that pretty dramatically impacted the ability of municipalities to use eminent domain outside their corporate boundaries, particularly for water and sewer easements. That bill is not going to receive a hearing. And then House Bill 1337, which did have some preemption language in there about timbering and ag uses in the 2-mile fringe. That language had already been removed in a prior meeting, which we supported that removal. But the underlying bill had some language that impacted communities that are members of an area plan commission. The BZA would only be making recommendations to the legislative body to make the final approval on special exceptions or special uses or variances, instead of the BZA's decision being final as it is now for the vast majority of plan commissions in the state, area plan commissions. Senator Buck also held that bill and decided not to move forward. So the language in all three of these bills is still alive because it has passed one house. So we'll definitely be keeping our eye out and talking with stakeholders to ensure that this language doesn't find a home in another bill throughout the conference committee process.
All right, so really what we're looking at the next 3 weeks or so are going to be extremely busy at the State House, especially with these abbreviated calendars. So certainly encourage everyone to read the tracking list at the bottom of your legislative summary so you understand what is still alive, what we're still tracking. Make sure you're watching your email for any urgent matters that need addressed in these last few weeks, and we'll be sure to be back next Friday with another report. Thanks, guys.
Thanks.